What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, former unified three-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, now junior middleweight title contender, soon to be ERROL the Truth Spence Jr. 28 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout. He has a classy response to what was seen to be, in the past, a former friend of his, former undisputed 3-time junior middleweight world champion superstar boxer, JERMELL Iron Man CHARLO, who has 35 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 19 wins by way of knockout. JERMELL CHARLO went on an absolute rant against ERROL the Truth Spence Jr. Now, many people have asked me now, who was the one that started this? ERROL Spence started this beef between the two. ERROL Spence was asked some time ago in an interview he did, would he ever fight JERMELL CHARLO if he moved up to 154? And the question was phrased in the manner of which we know you wouldn't fight JERMELL CHARLO, right? And he said, don't say that. I'll fight anybody. And JERMELL CHARLO said, listen, if the money is right, ERROL Spence said, if the money's right, this is the hurt business, as it's supposed to be, right? That was years ago, before ERROL fought Terrence Crawford and before JERMELL CHARLO moved up and fought Canelo Alvarez. Now, they've both been out the ring for 3 years, so go figure. It was longer than that, you understand? So it was at least 4 years ago, right? And then ERROL goes on to lose to Terrence Crawford in dramatic fashion. JERMELL CHARLO loses to Canelo Alvarez in dramatic fashion because he didn't put up a fight. And they both kind of been out the limelight, out of sight, out of mind. Well, not out of sight, out of mind because they're two superstars. But ERROL Spence has been widely reported to be moving up to 154. Remember, JERMELL CHARLO moved to 168 to challenge Canelo, but then said his home is 154. Well, this past weekend, well, before that, JERMELL CHARLO put up a post on his social media, and he put up a post of ERROL Spence's mantra, which is the big fish, his logo, right? That's what he goes by, big fish. JERMELL CHARLO put up a lion eating a shark, which is the big fish, the wounded shark, that ERROL Spence, the logo that he goes by. And so ERROL Spence was then asked what he thought about JERMELL CHARLO, and then he said, JERMELL CHARLO said, no friends in boxing. ERROL Spence was asked about it. Then ERROL Spence said, he looking for the biggest money fight possible. JERMELL CHARLO is. Terrence Crawford retired, Canelo retired. I'm the next biggest thing, money-wise, for him. So that's what he's looking for, and he knows what happened in that sparring session, right? And, that ruffled the feathers of JERMELL CHARLO. He did an interview with Cigar Talk and Najee, and he said, what happened in sparring? Tell him to show the footage, et cetera, et cetera. And now this past weekend at the Keith Thurman Sebastian Fundora fight, JERMELL CHARLO's like, man, ERROL Spence is the enemy. He's been hating on me. ERROL Spence can't beat Sebastian Fundora. That's the mistake he made. I watched Sebastian Fundora. He can't beat Sebastian Fundora, right? And I think that, and ERROL Spence is obviously, he's training now with Ronnie Shields, well-renowned Hall of Fame trainer, who JERMELL CHARLO left. But his identical twin brother, Jermall Charlo, undefeated 2-division world champion, superstar boxer, still trains with Ronnie Shields. And him and ERROL Spence, JERMELL CHARLO and ERROL Spence took a picture together. And that ruffled JERMELL CHARLO's feathers again, as JERMELL CHARLO stated, hey, man, I'm still the king of Texas. I run Texas, X, Y, and Z, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Out of the three, the truth of the matter is, JERMELL CHARLO runs Texas. He's undefeated, 2-division champion, right? And the bigger draw is ERROL Spence. And he's beat the bigger marquee names than JERMELL CHARLO. The most accomplished is JERMELL CHARLO because he's undisputed. But you took a loss to Tony Harrison. You avenged that loss, but you took that loss. And so everybody's waiting for Errol Spence's response. And I believe Errol Spence's response is the most classiest response right now. Eventually he'll respond. But his response is silence. Saying nothing. JERMELL CHARLO's response is silence. Saying nothing. He said, why would JERMELL CHARLO, my brother, take a picture with Errol Spence? He the enemy. He been hating on me. He trying to take what I got. You were saying that you wanted to fight Terrence Crawford after a while. So Errol Spence's response is silence. Silence speaks volumes, right? And I think that he said that Errol Spence need to fight me. Errol Spence need to fight me. If he think he could beat Sebastian Fundora, then he need to fight me right now. He need to fight me. And my thing is, this is going to be a massive fight. This is going to be a massive fight when it happens. And they got to put it in Texas. They got to put it in Texas. Put it on in Texas. Put it on in Texas. Errol Spence is rumored to fight Tim Tszyu coming up. He beats Tim Tszyu. Let's get JERMELL CHARLO and Errol Spence next. That's a major draw. I don't know if Errol Spence is looking for the belts first, but the belts are tied up. You got Jerron Boots Ennis going to fight Xander Zayas June 27th at the Barclays. So the winner of that fight is not going to be ready until at least October. But that'll be on par. If Errol Spence fights Tim Tszyu in June, he could be on par for the winner. And I'm sure the winner would like to fight Errol Spence should he beat Tim Tszyu, because he would be the biggest name at 154. Not named Sebastian Fundora. He's a bigger name than Sebastian Fundora and JERMELL CHARLO. But you got Josh Kelly, that maybe the winner of that fight might want to unify. Maybe Josh Kelly is looking to fight Errol Spence in a big fight, right? Give Errol Spence the IBF opportunity. And then you have Sebastian Fundora. Now, Errol Spence and Sebastian Fundora, they was looking to make that fight. And when Samson Liquid, who promotes Sebastian Fundora, was asked about Sebastian Fundora unifying the belts and possibly fighting Virgil Ortiz, he said, if they're not with Amazon Prime and PBC, they're not on our radar. So that lets you know that Errol Spence fight is available. So Errol Spence and Virgil Ortiz would be huge. Errol Spence and Sebastian Fundora would be huge. And Errol Spence and JERMELL CHARLO would be huge. But I think that the promotion for Errol Spence and JERMELL CHARLO would be enormous. That would be enormous. Errol Spence and Virgil Ortiz in Texas. If Errol Spence beats Tim Tszyu, that would be huge. But Virgil Ortiz is tied up with legal issues. And Sebastian Fundora would be huge because of what Sebastian Fundora just did to Keith Thurman. But Errol Spence keeps it classy and says nothing. Silence speaks volumes, period. But let me know what y'all think, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.